YouTube, what's going on, y'all? It's Pick Saber here, and welcome to another video. Really quickly, before I get into today's video topic, I want to remind you, if you're new here, go check out my introductory video where I go into detail about what type of content to expect on the channel. After dropping 5 of their final 6 games to end last year at 7-6, Cincinnati enters 2026 facing a severe uphill battle. The football program is in a period of instability as they enter their 4th year under Scott Satterfield. The Bearcats lost 35 players to the transfer portal. The coaching staff is attempting to plug holes by bringing in 22 portal additions, which leaves them with a net loss of negative 13 roster spots. And while portal-heavy acquisition strategies can occasionally yield results, relying on it to replace core production typically leads to a lack of chemistry. In other words, Satterfield didn't use the portal to build a deeper roster, he's just trying to survive. Coaching staff stability is also vital when a roster undergoes major turnover. But Cincinnati has the exact opposite. The Bearcats are breaking in new coordinators on both sides of the ball, and the lack of continuity can make it difficult for Cincinnati to establish a cohesive identity. And although the Bearcats' offense was explosive at times last season, I have my doubts about this unit heading into 2026. While the Bearcats did average just over 30 points per game and 6.9 yards per play last year, a deeper look reveals that their efficiency was largely driven by explosive plays rather than sustained drive success. A key indicator of inefficiency was their third down conversion rate of just 38.7%. This confirmed the boomer bust nature of the unit. If they didn't hit a big play, they often found themselves having to punt the football. The departure of Brennan Sorsby leaves a major void. And while Cincinnati did bring in J.C. French from Georgia Southern to replace Brennan Sorsby, he doesn't possess the same explosivity or playmaking ability that Sorsby does, not to mention his glaring turnover issues. So I think it's safe to say that there will be a drop-off at the quarterback position, which will likely mean that Cincinnati's offense won't be nearly as efficient as it was last year. And if that is the case, then it's a major cause for concern, as Cincinnati was so heavily reliant on their offense bailing them out last season. And even with a solid offensive line led by veterans like Joe Cotton and Evan Tangestahal, the skill positions are being rebuilt through the transfer portal, with 5 new portal additions to the wide receiver room and 3 new portal additions to the running back room. Even if the Bearcats are somehow able to replicate the explosivity of last year's offense, this is not necessarily a recipe for success. As in 2025, their high-tempo offense left their defense exhausted in the 4th quarter due to consistently losing the time of possession battle. If this unit remains explosive but continues to struggle on 3rd down, they will inevitably have games where they move the ball well but fail to put points on the board, leading to losses despite high yardage output. Defensively, the Bearcats finished last year near the bottom of the FBS, allowing 423.6 yards per game, which is 110th nationally. Cincinnati opponents converted 3rd downs at a 43.5% clip, which means that this unit couldn't get off the field or protect the lead. Their 3-3-5 scheme failed to generate consistent pressure and left the secondary vulnerable to explosive plays. This group lacked the overall depth and individual talent to stop high-caliber Big 12 offenses. With a new defensive coordinator and a heavy influx of transfers, the 2026 unit is essentially a start-from-scratch project. Defensive coordinator Nate Woody is shifting the team to a 3-4 scheme that aims to be more aggressive with pass rushing. While this addresses the desire for more pressure, it requires players to master a new set of responsibilities. Learning a new defensive system in one offseason often leads to thinking on the field rather than reacting, which is a recipe for broken assignments. While the secondary is viewed as having more depth than in previous years, there is a question of whether this new group has a higher ceiling than last year's starters. If the defensive line cannot consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks, the secondary will eventually break under the pressure of the Big 12's high-powered passing attacks. Even if the new defensive scheme is better on paper, the transition period for a unit relying on so many transfers usually leads to inconsistent play. And in the Big 12, where teams have the offensive talent to exploit lack of chemistry, a defense that is going through a major schematic transition is unlikely to be what carries the team to bowl eligibility. When looking over their schedule, you will notice that Cincinnati's home field opportunities are overshadowed by a brutal tier of conference opponents. The Bearcats will host Kansas State, Utah, and Texas Tech. Their road games do not offer any relief either, as they must travel to face Arizona, West Virginia, Houston, and BYU. Given the loss of Sorsby, a complete coordinator reset, major roster turnover, an uninspiring overall talent composite, and a schedule that is lacking a soft middle, a 4-8 or 5-7 finish is highly realistic. The under 5.5 wins provides a strong amount of value, as my numbers have Cincinnati at 4.98 wins. So I moved on the under 5.5 wins at -115. If you enjoyed today's video, click the subscribe button, drop a like, and share the video. Expect more videos just like this on regular season win totals and futures as we count down the days to the college football season. But until then, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Pick Saban, clocking out.